The courtroom grew unusually quiet as the case was called, because standing before Judge Mathis was not a hardened criminal or an angry adult, but a young child accused of stealing. Small in stature, eyes lowered, clearly overwhelmed by a room built for grown conflicts. And instead of beginning with accusations, Judge Mathis leaned forward and asked simple questions, not to intimidate, but to understand. And as the story unfolded, it became clear that this was not a tale of greed but of guidance missing at the right moment. A child influenced by peers, curiosity mixed with poor judgment, and a lack of supervision that allowed a bad decision to turn into a legal matter. And while the store representative explained the incident calmly, Judge Mathis kept his focus on the bigger picture, because punishment without understanding often creates fear, not change. And when the child finally spoke, voice shaking, admitting to taking something without paying, the honesty shifted the entire room, and Judge Mathis acknowledged it immediately, explaining that admitting wrongdoing is not weakness but the first step toward growth. And instead of directing his firmness toward the child alone, he turned his attention to the adults responsible for guidance, asking where supervision failed, what conversations had not happened, and why the lesson of right and wrong had been delayed until a courtroom became the teacher, and the questions were not asked with anger but with urgency. Because Judge Mathis understood that moments like this define futures, and he made it clear that a child's mistake should be corrected, not labeled, emphasizing that stealing is wrong regardless of age, but so is ignoring the reasons behind it. And as he addressed the child directly, he explained consequences in a way that was firm yet understandable, speaking about trust, responsibility, and how one bad choice does not have to define who you become if you learn from it. And then he shifted again, reminding the adults that accountability does not stop at the child's actions, because guidance, attention, and discipline are learned at home long before they are enforced by law. And when it came time to resolve the case, Judge Mathis chose correction over harsh punishment, making it clear that the goal was not to scare the child straight, but to redirect them while there was still time. And as the ruling was delivered, the tension lifted, replaced by something more powerful than fear, awareness. And Judge Mathis closed the case with a reminder that justice is not only about consequences, it is about intervention, and that saving a child from repeating a mistake is sometimes the most important ruling a court can make, leaving the courtroom with a lesson that echoed far beyond the case itself, that when society chooses guidance over neglect, mistakes can become turning points instead of life sentences.